I still don't know how I ended up at the heart of one of the largest financial fraud scandals in history. We're right around Sam's house.
What, this is it here?
Yeah, it's that way. But I think the biggest question I was curious about was just whether or not Sam was really this evil supervillain. You know, like days prior to this, I thought he was a pure, innocent, genius golden boy of crypto.
Guys, we're going straight this way. Come with me. Sam, hold on to me, Sam. Let's go. Come on, guys. Today.
Sam Bankman-Fried, the genius behind one of the most successful crypto companies, became one of the wealthiest men in the world in record quick time.
Come on, guys, today.
So how would you guys like to earn income while you just sit there and do absolutely nothing? Welcome to the world of cryptocurrency.
Crypto is a really crazy world.
I'll bet it all.
It attracted cowboys.
Crypto is a garden of snakes.
He cultivated this image that he was going to give all his money away.
But no one has lost more money more quickly than Sam Bankman-Fried.
Crypto Armageddon is here.
And the entire company, $40 billion, worth nothing in 2 weeks.
FTX has fully imploded.
Real people with real lives have been absolutely destroyed overnight.
Make the hole, guys.
I stuck my neck out for him and he betrayed me.
The fact that the poster child for the industry has gone down in flames means that the future of crypto itself is called into question.
Come on.
You've got money, you've got politicians, you've got celebrities.
Go.
What more could you need for a perfect crime?
Go.
So Sam, the key question that everyone wants to know is, were you incompetent or were you fraudulent?
You guys are all young and you're a little timid, so I have to look small to try to catch one of you guys. Yes. Yeah, I got you. Yes. Every now and then I name the troublemakers after bad guys. When they acted too bad, we would turn them into a taco. They would meet their maker. I'm gonna name you Sam Bankman-Fried. My name is Mark Cahotis. Most people in life know me as a short seller, as a professional skeptic. I'm a horseback rider, and I try to make a difference by exposing very bad people trying to rip others off. When I find scamsters or frauds, I look for bad jockeys. I look for people who aren't legit, people who don't check out. And I thought Sam Bankman-Fried was one of the great fakes of my life. And while all the signs were there along the way, the spectacle of it all took people's breath away.
Okay, the guy you see next to me is the most generous billionaire in the world, and I found him.
Hi, my name is Sam, and this is my story.
Sam has crazy hair. Sam is vegan. Sam sleeps 5 hours a night. Sam lives in the Bahamas with 10 roommates. Sam is 29 years old only, but Sam has $22 billion. And he wants to donate all of it to charity.
Sam's one of the youngest billionaires ever, but he's also quite unconventional. So he becomes this slight object of fascination.
I flew all the way from Dubai to
One YouTuber goes down to the Bahamas and really buys into Sam as this vegan superhero of the crypto world. Says to Sam, "Where's your car?"
It's that one there.
That's like what, a Toyota?
Yeah, it's a Corolla.
Why don't you buy a Lamborghini, man?
I didn't have any particular need for one.
Almost encouraging Sam to play this role of this genius who doesn't really understand social norms and stuff. Saying to the world, this guy's really odd, isn't he? But he's brilliant.
Sam Bankman-Fried, the founder and CEO of FTX, a man that you know well by the term SBF, not only one of the nicest people in crypto, but one of the smartest as well.
Sam's happy to appear everywhere, interview with anyone. It's almost like he wants the world to understand what makes him tick.
I love the jersey. The new swag is cool.
Oh, yeah. No, it even has the logo or my name on the back.
Very, very quickly, he starts becoming the toast of the establishment.
People say, what'd you think of Sam Bankman-Fried? I consider him a friend. I'm Anthony Scaramucci. I'm the managing partner and founder of Skybridge Capital. But I was also Donald Trump's White House communications director for 11 days. And while we're here, fuck Donald Trump. All right, maybe you put that in there.
Sam, appreciate you coming on here, man. I mean, you attracted money from a lot of big name investors. I mean, what are you looking to do with it now that you have it? Because FTX has already been growing.
Bigger yachts. No.
A mutual friend introduced me to Sam. I was told that there was a young gentleman, a crypto billionaire, who was trying to raise the profile of the company. And he comes into the call and he's got this headset on and his afro sticking out through the headset. I'm like, who the hell is this guy?
We're going to finally really start rising and rising more than people thought.
But very articulate, very bright.
I think there are some other blockchains as well, which are...
He knew a lot about sports. He was a walking political almanac.
There's sort of the lowest cost ways.
And then there was a niceness to Sam. He was a guy that I had a good feeling about. I thought there was a good energy about him.
Part of the Silicon Valley investing culture is a real belief in these kind of visionary founder entrepreneurs. Maybe you're rough around the edges, maybe you seem kind of unusual. In Sam's case, he doesn't dress normally like a businessman would. You know, he acts quite strangely. There's a famous story about Sam being in a big pitch meeting with a bunch of investors, and he's playing video games on his laptop, which is something he does all the time. He's done it to me. And you would think the suits in the room are going to say, who the hell is this kid? How dare he play video games while he's talking to me? But that almost flips, where it's like, this guy is so smart, and he's talking to me with half his brain, and he's still doing a good pitch. And it makes him seem like a genius, the outside-the-box thinker, the person who's going to make you, not $1 million, but $10 billion.
You don't have one of those little bar things. I mean...
Can't afford it.
Oh, man. Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
Action. My name is Margot Abedisian. I've been a Bitcoin entrepreneur since 2012. I used to tell people, I'm the leading woman in Bitcoin, but I was also the only woman in Bitcoin. I'm not the best trader, but I was in early enough to make some money in crypto. All currency is really made up, right? You just have countries that are deeming it valuable. With cryptocurrency, it's kind of the same. It's like digital gold.
The simplest way of describing cryptocurrency is it's like a digital cash. And it doesn't recognize borders or governments or central banks. Politicians aren't in charge. It's all done by computer code. Anyone can use it to buy things with, or you can just use to trade it and buy dollars and euros. And a lot of people think this is the future of money.
Most people have heard of Bitcoin, but there are thousands upon thousands of these crypto coins out there. You can just make one on the internet and say, this is my coin, will anyone buy it from me? And if someone will buy it from you for 10 bucks, then it's worth 10 bucks. That's how crypto works.
Pretty soon, crypto is a phrase sweeping the world.
If you had invested some money across all the coins I suggested, you'd be up 43% today, which is bonkers.
Got this avalanche of ordinary people thinking, I see people getting rich,
how to make $1 million in the crypto markets. Now, I've managed to do this within the last year.
I see other people buying Lamborghinis, and I don't want to miss out on this.
I'm going to be showing you 7 different ways that you can get yourself some Bitcoin, even if you're a kid or a teenager.
It's pretty usual for your money to go up and your money to go down. There's really no guarantee that it's not going to crash.
If you hold any cryptocurrency on any exchange, you could be in danger of losing most or all of it.
There's a lot of risk involved.
Now, you're not going to make 1% per day. Anyone who promises you that is just simply lying to you.
Cryptocurrency is littered with the strangest group of scammers who promise the world and end up often just disappearing with everybody's money.
A Bulgarian woman has been placed on the FBI's top 10 most wanted list for allegedly running a cryptocurrency scam.
I think crypto attracts fraudsters because of this thought of making money easily, and there aren't really any clear rules.
I'll bet it all.
It really attracted a certain type of people, almost cowboys in a way, who feel comfortable playing in the gray area.
Because crypto is so unregulated, it's a bit of a Wild West.
Crypto's dodgy reputation is based on the fact that it was associated with money laundering, but Sam is trying to be kind of the advocate and spokesperson for acceptable mainstream crypto. We're the good guys. You know, we're not like some of those other shadowy actors in the crypto sphere. FTX is kind of like a stock exchange, but it works for crypto.
FTX is by far the most advanced cryptocurrency trading platform.
FTX, they make buying and selling crypto super simple.
FTX seemed to be the most successful company in the hottest sector in the world.
Check out the link down below in the description for FTX. FTX.
FTX.
FTX.
FTX.
FTX.
And they have their own cryptocurrency called FTT.
FTT was like their in-house currency. If you wanted to go onto the FTX platform, the easiest way to do it was to first buy some FTT and then use those FTT to start buying and selling all these different cryptocurrencies and then turn them back into normal money and get it back into your own bank account again.
While I was at university, I started doing some modeling and TV work. I did quite a large campaign, along with my twin brother. It was just silly kind of 20-year-old characters having fun with mobile phones. My mum was so proud.
Brotherly love with ringtones from O2.
I had a choice whether to go down that route or get serious and start working. My name is Sunil Kavuri. I'm a trader. When I invest in something, I do take quite a bit of time researching and analyzing. I got attracted to FTX in particular because large investment funds such as Sequoia, $85 billion fund, BlackRock, more like $9 trillion under management. So massive groups have basically given their stamp of approval to FTX, and I chose to hold my dollars on FTX because FTX was portrayed as safe as a bank.
My decision to go to FTX was really about being a part of the fastest growing company essentially in the history of the world. Our real goal was to make the company well known, get it out there to the public, and show what we were all about. There's not many companies that get to be at the front seat of a lot of the biggest marketing deals that are happening in the world. We're talking about Formula One, Major League Baseball. We had deals in the works with English Premiership League teams.
FTX had the most extraordinary marketing machine. I mean, they spent an absolute ton of money. The message was, if you don't believe in crypto, you're missing out.
I call it the wheel.
I don't think so.
The Super Bowl ad with Larry David was seen as a major landmark for what we were trying to do.
One of the worst ideas I've ever heard.
Sam, I know he loved this ad. He'd bring it up a lot, saying how it's going to help us, legitimize.
Like I was saying, it's FTX. It's a safe and easy way to get into crypto.
Yeah, I don't think so. And I'm never wrong about this stuff. Never.
These were moments when FTX kind of broke into the mainstream.
Brady. The best ever, right?
Tom Brady and Giselle were also pivotal to our marketing strategy.
So you know he's going to invest better, too.
#1 sports star, and Giselle, the biggest fashion model icon.
This is big.
There were so many people that said, wow, Tom Brady trusts FTX. He's making advertise on it. So when you have the legitimacy of high reputation people, it adds a lot of weight.
I just remember hearing about FTX and thinking, wow, okay. And I started seeing them everywhere. Commercials, endorsements, everything. And the message that they were spitting out was something that all resonated with everyone. They were trying to disrupt the market and be there for the little guys. And we were like, okay, cool. So, invested about 10,000 USD to start. And the money that I put in grew pretty quickly. 3.5 years down the road, I had accumulated roughly 487K. And so I was kind of keeping it there for safekeeping, and I was going to transfer it out. That was the plan.
By the end of this video, you should have a clear idea on what you should be doing as an investor and hopefully on your way to start making some consistent income with the crypto market.
So how would you guys like to earn income while you just sit there and do absolutely nothing? Well, welcome to the world of cryptocurrency.
I don't understand crypto. I don't understand why anyone would own it, because the people who you're up against know the rules and they know how to skin you alive. I've uncovered some significant frauds over the last 40 years. I've had death threats, I've had people visit, but when I throw a punch, I hit hard. I became very skeptical of Sam Bankman-Fried and began tweeting that I thought this thing was a complete scam. A complete scam. Forbes and Fortune were running cover stories about him, and as I look back, I couldn't have screamed any louder, but no one wanted to pay attention. That's the bottom line. The question is why?
Sam didn't quite come from nowhere. Growing up in Palo Alto, California, you had academic parents who were kind of prominent professors at Stanford Law School, and he was kind of a nerdy kid.
2 more steps, Sam, and you'll be able to stand on the cable. You'll be surprised how steady it feels.
Great, Sam.
I wasn't sort of like really into kid things.
Trust yourself, trust us, we got you.
But outside of that, I think it's a really good upbringing. Nothing bad happened, basically. Got along with my family well.
He goes to a school for gifted children, I suppose. He's absolutely brilliant at maths. Ends up at MIT, one of the best universities in America, where he majors in physics and maths.
So this is vegan police versus proxy 2-gate.
So on small maps, we just run the same attack bot that everyone else does.
There's this amateur footage of a university games battle, which gives real insight into his passions. I suppose the traditional nerd. He loves numbers, he loves gaming. While he's there, he realizes that he wants to change the world. He wants to make the world a better place.
When do you feel like kind of adult Sam emerged?
I think it's basically at MIT. And, I think that, In the end, I sort of like discovered effective altruism really when I was in college, and I think that's sort of when that part of me really grew out.
I'm Peter Singer, and I might call myself the godfather of the effective altruism movement. The philosophy is that making the world a better place, helping others, should be one of the important aims of our life.
Basically, it's a group of people looking to try and figure out if you want to maximize the amount of good you do, maximize the positive impact that you can have on the world. What does that imply? What does that mean you should do with your life?
I only met him after he was already successful, but he had gone to Wall Street to earn a lot of money, stating that he was going to be using what he earned for good, to help others.
I identified a bunch of really great developing world health charities, but my goal is to do as much good as I can for the world. I got into finance in the first place to try and maximize the amount that I can donate to some of the most effective causes.
Sam Bankman-Fried became kind of a pin-up boy for the movement, and he definitely gave the impression that he was going to give the vast majority of his wealth away.
I don't think I give a shit about my legacy. That's not what matters. Like, I think what matters is what impact I have on the world in the end. I'm gonna keep selling some X's here.
Right at the beginning, Sam Bankman-Fried took on a kind of legendary status as this incredible crypto genius. And when he sets up FTX, he still owns Alameda Research. So he says the two things are going to be separate companies, and I'm going to step back as the CEO of Alameda and focus on FTX. So you can start making even more money and giving even more money away.
This is a huge amount of money. You know, you can imagine how appealing that narrative is, where you have this young guy, he's got this hugely successful company, he's completely brushing aside all the kind of trappings of being a billionaire. It's a very powerful story that Sam was broadcasting about himself.
He was emerging as one of the most powerful people in this industry that was trying to kind of legitimize itself.
Sam has spent a lot of money currying favor and establishing access in Washington.
Mr. Bankman-Fried, you are now recognized for 5 minutes to present your oral testimony.
It's an honor to be here. I think that the industry has the potential to improve a lot of people's lives. And I think that it's healthy that the industry will be regulated.
The big kind of cause that he's pushing for is regulation of cryptocurrency, but crucially, he's pushing for regulatory proposals that are advantageous to FTX. And then there was some real money being thrown at political donations. And Sam emerged as one of the biggest donors to the Democratic Party in the US.
He was the second largest donor to Joe Biden's 2020 election campaign. And, you know, that turned him into a DC power player basically overnight.
This is another element of how I think you can buy your way into being considered an accepted person whose voice is listened to and for whom doors open.
All set? Action?
This is beautiful.
It is.
Thomas, had time to go to the beach? Have you had time?
Once or twice.
Really?
I don't know. I spend most of my time at the office, but it's a great place to be. You know, been welcomed here, which has been awesome.
Get some barracudas, like some snuffles. At 40 years of age, I've raised and born here in the Bahamas, and this is the first time ever a company just come into the Bahamas and invest into the people. FTX brought a lot of employment to the country. People pick up mortgages, because they felt we have a good paying job. You know, to me, Sam was like a savior. Every morning, I would come in the office and Sam would be like sleeping on a beanbag, you know, exhausted after the whole night on the computer, and the only thing he got to do is like just fall right off on the side of the computer onto the beanbag. Yeah.
They were the new kids on the block. They were doing things completely differently in this new frontier of finance.
It was basically just like that social media Mark Zuckerberg movie. Sam's sitting behind 12 different screens, video games over here, trading desk over here. It was almost surreal to be in that kind of office environment. When you join FTX, there was definitely a feeling, I wouldn't call it a cult, but every day people are wearing FTX hats, you're using FTX mugs, and you're evangelizing this message of this company.
Sam created a kind of inner leadership circle at FTX that consisted of people that he was friends with from college, from previous jobs.
You want to say a few words?
Hi. Yeah, I'm really excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Caroline Ellison, the CEO of Alameda Research. Most people in the office, when they see her, think she's the intern, but she's also a maths whiz.
Use a lot of like elementary school math.
She was a Harry Potter fanatic. She would dress up as a nymph sometimes. She was also in a relationship off-on with Sam Bankman-Fried.
Being unusual was not a bad thing in crypto. The people are young, and this is the culture that they're steeped in, but there were some very important figures who were much less public. Gary Wang is the co-founder, very close to Sam. They have a very long personal history. I think they first met at math camp. They went to college together, and Gary was always Sam's right hand on the tech stuff.
Then you got Nishad Singh, a really nice, gentle man. But they're all, I suppose, a bit like him, maths prodigies and geniuses. And this inner circle all lived together in this enormous luxury compound of unimaginable wealth and opulence called the Albany. But it's a bit like a student dorm in a way.
Different people moving in and out, different couples shacking up in different bedrooms, and that would all be fine and normal if they were roommates in grad school, but these are all the top executives of one of the most valuable startups in the world.
How are you? Hey, what's up, man? What's up, guys? How you doing today, man? You guys?
I like Sam, and we were getting closer. We were spending more time together. Sam is probably 6 months older than my oldest son, and I think he saw me as somebody that could help him. So we bought $10 million of his FTT token. He bought 30% of our business, and we were coming up with strategic ideas on how we could grow each other's businesses. Either my team or his team said, hey, why don't we do a crypto-centric event in the Bahamas?
The arrival and presence of FTX underscores the readiness of the Bahamas to be a home for global leaders in the crypto space.
In a way, it was FTX's coming out party for itself. It's in this super glitzy environment, and there's gonna be a lot of parties. We're gonna show off just how many big names FTX could pull in. I literally walked past Katy Perry in a hallway.
We had this very exclusive, fun event. We invited President Clinton, Prime Minister Blair.
I remember seeing Anthony Scaramucci introduce Sam to Tony Blair, and it was this incredibly awkward exchange with sort of Sam trying to say something about Brexit and Tony Blair clearly not wanting to talk about that.
First few years back when the UK government started to look at it very closely.
The sort of weirdness and absurdity of the whole scene was so clear.
I've never seen people who used to be, the rulers of two of the biggest nations speak at a crypto conference.
We had a Telecommunications Reform Act for the first time in 60 years.
Like, that was not normal.
So everything was A-list. When we were planning out sort of some of the marketing ideas, we had things like, okay, Sam's gonna fly in his private jet at this time. Him and Tom Brady are gonna meet.
We're at Crypto Bahamas Conference. We're gonna start the day. We're gonna do some TikToks for you guys.
We kind of scripted some TikTok discussions of what they were gonna do.
Get ready with me.
Sam. There were yachts, champagne was everywhere. So it was something of one of the highest decadence that I had ever seen.
Welcome to the crypto crash of 2022. We are living through history, epic times.
Crypto companies are collapsing and going bankrupt left, right, and center.
We are in the absolute shit show stage for most crypto lenders at the moment.
Meanwhile, FTX is splashing money all over the place. Everyone's panicking, but these guys seem to be doing better than okay. They've got money to burn.
For the conference.
Sam was seen as a golden boy. He was a media darling. He was very well considered in the circles of Washington. He was creating financial services powerhouse. 25 of the top venture capitalists had funded him. So I was very proud to be affiliated with him.
A-list celebrities actually wanting to say, wow, this FTX company is so cool. They're wanting to share what they're doing. And myself, I said, wow, this company has the real chance to change the world.
Good morning, crypto.
I guess grab your morning coffee, or maybe something a little stronger.
Yeah,
if you need it today.
Put some Baileys in that coffee.
But you're gonna need a lot more than one drink.
2nd of November, normal day. Sam's in the Bahamas at work on FTX or whatever it is he does. And then suddenly an article arrives and sparks off the most dramatic 10 days in the history of crypto.
Bear in mind, this is a very dynamic situation. Things are changing by the hour.
A crypto journalist has been leaked documents about Alameda Research's finances, which are completely explosive.
So I work from home here in Edinburgh. It's strange because Edinburgh is pretty far from the action. But a source said to me, well, look, you know, what most people don't know is that Alameda's balance sheet is much weaker than is thought. People maybe think that they've got 20 billion on the balance sheet, but actually they've got like 2 or 3, maybe 4. FTT is the native cryptocurrency of the FTX exchange, and the fact that it was FTT tokens that were making up the bulk of the assets on Alameda's balance sheet was definitely a red flag.
A huge proportion of Alameda Research's assets, the things they own, are actually in FTT, the stuff that FTX can create at will. Now, we'd always heard that FTX and Alameda were completely separate, but people started wondering, how true is that? How come so much of the assets that you own are in FTX's made-up money?
What caught my eye immediately was that the balance sheet showed that most of the assets were their own cryptocurrency, and most of the liabilities were actual dollars. Cryptocurrency is something that doesn't actually have any real value besides what someone thinks it does. There's nothing real about it. So what that means is that they had billions of dollars in debt, but they didn't have any real money to pay people back. I mean, I'll tell you that when I saw it, I did about 5 minutes of research and I laughed because I knew it meant that the narrative about Sam Bankman-Fried being this genius was not true. And I knew that he was in really deep trouble.
This story was just explosive.
There's a lot of worry about FTX, Alameda Research, Sam Bankman-Fried.
The thing that really starts the absolute white heat of the crisis for FTX is a tweet by Changpeng Zhao, CZ, who is the chief executive of Binance, which is the world's largest crypto exchange. He and Sam do not get along, and he comes out and he tweets, "We own FTT, worth in and around 500 million, and because of the concerns that are raised, we're gonna sell." If they're gonna sell, the price is gonna go down. Then that activates the problem, which is that FTX and Alameda are relying on this asset being worth a certain amount. If the price starts to go down, they are increasingly looking like they have a financial problem.
Binance says it will liquidate its entire position in the FTX token. Of course, is used by its competitor, FTX.
Binance is an opportunity, and they go for the jugular.
Crypto Armageddon is here. The biggest players in the world are at war.
That is what creates the storm of panic around FTX.
If you have your money on FTX, please take your money out as soon as you possibly can. It's not worth the risk right now.
There's basically a bank run. Everyone wants out. Everyone wants to sell FTT. There is a stampede of sales, and the price at FTT plummets. 80% value gone within a few hours.
The crypto market is in utter collapse mode. The FTX token is now down over 70% on the day.
Caroline Ellison, the CEO of Alameda Research, she's making light of this. She goes on Twitter saying, we've got loads of money. So she in public is saying, nothing to see here.
So FTX CEO Sam Bankman-Fried took to Twitter to clear something up. He said that a competitor is trying to attack the company with rumors. He then says in the same tweet, FTX is fine, assets are fine.
There was a huge effort to project that we are fine. Market opinion, people's emotions about a company matter so much more than they do whether a company makes cars or something that actually has intrinsic value. Because crypto is only worth what people think it's worth, opinion is the only thing that matters.
What was actually happening at the top tier of the company is that Sam and his advisors were starting to panic. The bank run exposed that there was a hole in the company's accounts that they wouldn't be able to fill. There was a massive difference between the amount of money that FTX was supposed to have available for people to withdraw and the amount of money that they actually had.
People are realizing we might have an even bigger problem than we thought here. If everyone asks for their money back all at once, we can't pay.
Some of the sources that I'd spoken to were saying, have you seen how much money's draining out of FTX? And I was a bit dismayed because I was just thinking, oh, I've destroyed this guy's company and, you know, I didn't really intend to do that.
Sam must wake up on Monday morning and see that $5 billion has been withdrawn from his FTX platform. They are fast running out of cash.
The team around Sam are working out of the Albany in the penthouse. This is the war room where they are running the effort to try and save the company. And this is becoming like a very, very tense, difficult atmosphere. You don't have people who have decades of experience as executives. These are people who their only work experience is at FTX. The systems are breaking down because people are asking for so much money. And every minute, more money is flowing out the door at FTX.
Sam, he starts panicking and thinking, where can I raise this money from? We need more cash and we need it quick. He starts hitting the phones, begging people for money.
The seminal moment for me was about 10 p.m. It was a Monday night, November the 7th. I remember calling his dad. He very plaintively said to me, FTX had $1 billion problem, meaning there was a shortfall. They were positioning it as, well, we have the money, but we just have to liquidate things, and so we may need a bridge loan to hold us over. And then maybe several hours later, he did intimate to me that it was a $4.5 billion problem, and I said, okay, wow, we went from $1 billion to $4.5 billion. There's a bigger problem there. I'm going to fly to the Bahamas. They were at the Albany condominium complex. When I walked in there, what I was witnessing from Sam was disassociation. It was like he was having an existential crisis, very reminiscent. If you've ever watched Private Ryan, they show the onslaught on the beach at Normandy during D-Day, and there's one scene where a serviceman has his arm blown off, and he's standing there holding his arm, and you could see that he's looking at himself in disbelief that that's actually him. And I felt that that's what came into my visual when I was looking at Sam. I think Sam was having a hard time processing that he was in the crosshairs of this unmitigated catastrophe.
FTX is battling to stave off bankruptcy, leaving investors around the world fearful that they might never see their money again.
Every hour that passes, Sam realizes that there's more and more money that he's got to find to pay off the people that are asking for their money back. By the morning of November the 8th, the cash is just dried up. Sam hasn't been able to raise enough money, and they are out of cash. They can't pay out investors. All these people online still desperately trying to get their money suddenly find withdrawals have been suspended.
Well, I was working, and I'm not a very popular person. I don't get a lot of messages. And I look at my phone, the messages is spewing up from they keep going. And they're saying, go check in FTX, can you access it? Huge issues trying to log on. At one point I went in and it said $0, like my wallet said 0. And then I was thinking, I can't lose all this money. I'm in real trouble. And it was one of those things, total shock where you can't even think straight.
I remember saying, this can't be true, because I had quite a few $1,000s still on my account. So I went to immediately pull my money off the account. I waited an hour, I waited 3 hours. Okay, now I'm really getting nervous that this withdrawal is not gonna happen.
I think my stomach dropped when it wasn't processing my withdrawal attempt. Like basically 24 hours I was on the computer, refreshing, trying to email, but nothing seemed to work. And you feel helpless. When officially they said the withdrawals are being stopped, then I completely went sick. I just thought, oh my God, that's it, I've lost everything.
And how much money?
$2.1 million. Yeah, so it's a huge amount. Yeah. And it was earmarked for, my son's education, university, a house. I mean, it's like, it's unbearable.
When FTX stopped paying people back, that was the key moment that signals that this company is, if not dead, then on life support.
Sam turns to the one person that might be able to somehow rescue FTX. And that's the person that started this whole bank runoff in the first place.
When he came to me, I know I have to be the last person he will reach on Earth. So when he came to me, I knew he was desperate. I actually don't really care about SBF at all, but we want to help the users.
A deal is reached very, very quickly with very little detail. Binance is going to buy FTX.
FTX is selling itself to Binance, and this all stemmed from a CoinDesk report by our very own Ian Allison.
Just how significant is this deal, Nick?
Probably the most dramatic deal I've ever seen in the history of the crypto industry, and really a disaster for FTX.
I'm at a loss for words. This is insane. If you're not sure what's just happened, CZ basically set his competitor on fire by stoking rumors of insolvency, and then showed up with water buckets later, basically acting like the hero, saving the day.
The world's biggest cryptocurrency exchange, Binance, has pulled out of a deal to acquire a struggling rival, FTX. When Binance pulled out of the deal, the exchange specifically blamed the due diligence process, meaning that once they got a look at the books, they wanted to walk away.
It didn't take us very long to figure out there's way bigger problems than we imagined.
CZ has said publicly in front of everybody, not only is the deal off, something's wrong. Something's really wrong with this company. We don't want to have anything to do with it.
How bad was it? Well, apparently FTX has an $8 billion hole in their balance sheet.
Kind of rank and file employees were dumbfounded. People were crying. People were wondering what they would find out next about the inner workings of the company. It was a kind of shocking moment.
At the same time that all of this is happening, there's actually a hurricane moving towards the Bahamas.
Many residents were told several times today to stay indoors and find the nearest shelter.
A lot of the people who worked at FTX do start to try and make arrangements to leave.
Now the conditions have worsened.
People do start quitting left, right, and center. There was a rumor that went around that someone had been stopped at the airport because they were an FTX employee, and then everyone starts to freak out.
Raging sea gusts and large swells made this Bay Street impassable.
They're worried about getting arrested at the airport, just terrified about what's happening to them and how much trouble they might be in.
Do you remember employees leaving
Yes,
the island?
yes. I was responsible for rentals. It was like all over the place, finding cars this way and that way. Like the people just would get out, like so afraid, like they just gone.
I didn't really feel the specter of fraud until I got down to the Bahamas. And some of the senior executives said to me, hey, listen, money was moved inappropriately to help Sam's investment account at Alameda. I was like, whoa, I mean, you guys gotta go to the Department of Justice. This is a big problem.
Customer funds that should have been on the FTX platform, safe and secure, had, without their knowledge, been secretly sent over to Alameda to help Alameda pay off its debts.
Alameda's account was coded in a way that allowed Alameda access to the, for lack of a better word, the piggy bank of FTX, where customer funds were being commingled, and that allowed Alameda to have unlimited access to FTX's cash.
Funds were just deposited, and no one knew whose funds were whose. Alameda can just trade with whatever funds were available to them.
How egregious is that?
Extremely. That is about as bad as you can possibly imagine. It's complete misuse of client funds.
Caroline Ellison gathered the Alameda staff and tearfully admitted to them that she, Nishad, Gary, and Sam had agreed to use customer money to fill holes in Alameda's accounts, basically.
There's so many like gray area rules, but that is so explicitly not even in the gray area. Like you can't take other people's money and spend it. It's one thing if people are losing money in trading. It's another thing when they trusted an exchange that had all the markings of being a trustworthy institution and then their money's stolen.
So Sam's world is sort of falling apart in front of his eyes and in front of our eyes.
We just got 22 tweets from FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried apologizing for the chaos that's happening.
I f***ed up and should have done better. That's the tweet just sent out from Sam Bankman-Fried.
Soon after this long thread of apology, I'm sorry this happened. It was an honest mistake.
Mr. Bankman-Fried tweeted that he was working on raising funds to pay back customers, saying, "We are where we are, which sucks. That's on me. I'm sorry."
At the same time, up in New York, another group of FTX executives, people like Ryan Miller, who's the legal counsel for FTX US, start pleading with Sam, you have to resign. But Sam, down in the Bahamas, isn't doing it. He's not going to resign.
As you go through Thursday, it just starts to become relentless. Sam, this is what you need to do. Sam, this is what you need to do.
That continues until the early morning hours of Friday. It's 1 a.m. and Sam still hasn't signed, and it's 2 a.m. and still he's kind of waffling about what to do.
At 4 a.m., finally Sam cracks. He finally signs on the dotted line, and that's it. It's over. He's no longer in charge of FTX, this empire that he built up.
The cryptocurrency platform FTX has gone bust, and its chief executive, Sam Bankman-Fried, has resigned.
FTX, the big exchange, has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy.
FTX has fully imploded.
Sam Bankman-Fried became one of the wealthiest men in the world in record quick time. Well, that was nothing compared to the speed with which the whole thing collapsed. And the entire company of FTX, $40 billion, worth nothing in 2 weeks. The single fastest loss of wealth in human history. No one has lost more money more quickly than Sam Bankman-Fried in the first 2 weeks of November 2022.
I don't have the full story yet. Nobody does. Maybe this is fraud, but maybe not. The only real question I have is, why did it take us so long to find this out?
I don't want to say I've seen it all, but I've seen an awful lot. There were so many red flags. And when I raised my hand to people in the mainstream media, everyone said it was bad for business if they would be critical of SBF. Sam Bankman was basically a media creation. People were told what to think and how to think of him.
We're here now with a legend in the crypto space.
Some of these rock stars in the crypto world, Sam Bankman-Fried is one of them.
One of the biggest names in crypto.
People saw what they wanted to see and just assumed that he was who he said he was. I talked to this one reporter. He said, I would never think someone so nerdy could do something like that.
I think the innovation is the biggest thing.
He was creating this sort of virtue signaling through his dress, his sort of dematerialistic style, in terms of some of the charitable work that he was doing. And then underneath the surface of that was lurking this sort of overly ambitious, morally bereft person.
Look at what's out there.
When you look back at this fraud, all the information was hiding in broad daylight.
Every now and again, there was a little clue if you knew where to look. Sam posts a company message in 2022 saying Alameda is unauditable. We find sometimes $50 million worth of assets that we didn't even know we had. Such is life.
The fact that SBF admitted that he misplaced or lost that much money and no one blinks an eye, I just don't understand. You know, he was so brazen about it.
That's why we started FTX.
Behind the scenes, it was like this group of kids were just running this company in their spare time, like a church tuck shop. Lots of legal documents just being signed off, not by any kind of formal legal system, but by someone posting like an emoji, thumbs up emoji or love heart emoji or whatever.
Almost everybody was under the age of 30. But when you're handling billions of dollars of client assets, the lack of expertise on how to properly control a business, how to properly architect a security program does come into play. They had two individuals which were responsible for security part-time. The protection of the client funds was not a priority.
I worked at FTX for a year, and I really got to see it from peak to fall from the inside, which was fascinating.
Frankly speaking, one of the red flags should have been just the lack of seriously experienced people.
Working in compliance, especially working in like a financial company in compliance, means you're the department that's charged with preventing fraud. But I didn't really know what compliance was until I started working in compliance, which should have been a red flag there. I had no compliance experience. So they truly were looking for people that were inexperienced and that could just kind of be soldiers and would do things without asking questions.
This was all about Sam. And when Silicon Valley venture capitalists are interviewing Sam about investing and he's playing computer games while he's doing it, they should think that's bad, but they don't.
Any other person who does that, you're out of the door, you're finished. Example, you go to a bank manager, you're trying to get a mortgage loan, you're playing video games. Come on, where is the bank going to give you a mortgage? Come on, it's like, this is not even a red flag, it's like, it's dead.
If I went out there and said like, hey, look, here's my company, invest in it, be a part of it, people are going to be like, what are your credentials? Like, who is your backing? They're going to be asking a lot more questions that nobody asked the MIT graduate with 2 Stanford tenured parents questions about, right?
Very simple questions were never asked, and sure were never answered. My simple thing is why? And the real answer is there was so much money thrown around. When someone talks about crypto Bahamas, the spectacle of it, I said, explain to me how this guy could possibly be spending ridiculous sums of money. And at the same time, crypto and all parts of crypto were collapsing. How in the world are you making any money when everyone else is losing their ass? How is that possible? You simply are flashing bright red lights in front of me.
Well, I'd like to speak out on behalf of a lot of the FTX employees. Should we all as employees seen red flags better, pointed them out? Probably yes. But, you know, if you speak out, you get fired. I was hired by FTX with a very clear purpose. This was, you're gonna work for this organization that we just signed a $50 million long-term partnership. Really one of Asia's most premier sports organizations. But very quickly, literally my first week after being hired, they say, Sam has reviewed it, get out of the deal. And we're like, what? It's signed, it's complete, it's $50 million. We started to cancel more and more deals, and I started asking around, are we in financial trouble? I had the suspicion that, you know, there is some kind of distress happening, but I had no proof of it. And then I had a couple contentious phone calls with this head of marketing. They said, you're not a company fit, you're gonna be terminated. So the day before I'm awarded my first bonus with the company, they terminate me.
If anyone would have asked anyone a tough question rather than cheerleading, billions and billions and billions would have been saved. The thing about SBF is, what has SBF done? He hasn't done shit in his life. And he can't explain what he's done. And he puts up billboards of himself. They want people to focus their eyes on this weirdo, right? And not look at what's really going on. And I think this thing is dirty and rotten to the core.
It's easy with retrospect to see all of the red flags, but it's just the amount of hype around crypto and about Sam in particular just was enough to make those red flags turn slightly orange and maybe not quite as serious as they seemed.
We got to get to the bottom of finding out why SBF has not been walked out of the office in handcuffs.
Everyone's speculating, well, what's this man going to do? Is he going to do what most crypto people do when things go wrong and go on the run? So everyone's getting a little bit frustrated and angry almost. You've got prominent crypto YouTubers turning up in the Bahamas, trying to find him.
All right, guys, we are here in the Bahamas. We're going to get Sam right now.
One YouTuber, BitBoy, goes over there. I'm going to find Sam Bankman-Fried.
He's going to have bionic legs to get away from me.
He's going to have bionic legs to get away from me because I'm coming for him.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Kind sir. Good sir.
Just having we got through security. We are in the Albany. We are in the compound. We are not playing games. Sam, come out and tell your story, bro. Like, that's what we want to do. Curtain move, boys. We got a curtain move. Come on, Sam.
You've got all these crypto influencers turning up, generating content, promoting their own brand, trying to find out what had happened to Sam Bankman-Fried.
I need you guys to join me.
Like, he's just sitting there.
Now, since going bankrupt, Sam's been mostly quiet, but recently that changed when he gave an interview to a citizen journalist, Tiffany Fong.
I didn't have any money in FTX, but I just messaged him, and I believe I said something along the lines of, hey, obviously there's a lot in the news about FTX right now. Would you be willing to chat and tell me your side of the story? My name is Tiffany Fong. I'm a content creator, I guess. What's up, guys? It's me, Tiff. I got into crypto really early, but I basically lost what was a lot of my life savings, and I just wanted somewhere to vent. I'm not much of a YouTuber, but I did just get fucked by Celsius last week, and that's actually how I initially got in touch with Sam Bankman-Fried. He started following me. And then on November 16th, I was actually on a date in New York City, just having some drinks. And then I checked my phone and I saw a DM from Sam Bankman-Fried. I think he sent like one of those little hearts that was like a arrow and a 3, and then said, hey, yeah, I'd be happy to chat. I'm free for the next hour or so. I showed it to my date and I was like, what is happening right now? And he was like, go home. So I like ran home sort of tipsy and hopped on the phone with him.
I don't even know why you're talking to me. It's not like I'm some big reporter or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, at the end of the day, I've started to trust my gut a little bit on things like this.
This was my first time ever interviewing anyone. And at the time of our phone call, Sam, I don't believe had spoken to anybody. So I was very nervous because I'm like, this is huge. But I think the biggest question I was curious about was just whether or not Sam was really this evil supervillain.
There was something about a backdoor that allowed you to execute commands that could alter the company's financial records without alerting others. I think that was a Reuters article.
Wait, and this is something that I would be doing?
It kind of said that SBF put like a secret backdoor so that he was moving funds to Alameda.
Well, that's interesting, because that I can tell you definitely not true. I don't even know how to code. Is the honest, embarrassing answer.
Sam is lying here while telling the truth. I mean, it is technically correct that he didn't build the backdoor in FTX for Alameda, but he wasn't even the person accused of building it. It wasn't Sam. It was Sam's right-hand man, Gary Wang, who was accused of building it.
I think that Sam tries to avoid telling like verifiably false lies, but I think that he is quite a master of being evasive and sort of obscuring the truth. But I was a little bit shocked by the fact that he didn't seem overly distraught, didn't seem to be having some sort of emotional breakdown.
Hi.
Hey.
How you doing?
Doing well, Sam.
After the bankruptcy is signed, it's clear Sam is in for all kinds of trouble from a legal point of view.
Where should I be, by the way?
Oh, if you just sit about where you are, actually,
Yep.
maybe a little bit towards there, if that's okay. And then if it's not too uncomfortable, if you could angle yourself towards me.
Yep.
And you know, the last thing you would expect him to do is start giving interviews, which is exactly what he does.
Are you happy, Emma?
I am.
All right, I'm just going to do one of these clap things. Okay?
Yeah.
So, Sam, the key question that everyone wants to know is, were you incompetent or were you fraudulent?
I didn't knowingly commit fraud. I don't think I committed fraud. I didn't want any of this to happen. I was certainly not nearly as competent as I thought I was. And that goes against a lot of things that I held pretty close to myself.
We've spoken to one of your, a senior FTX employee. He's furious with you. He says you're lying, and that it's impossible, he says, for you not to have known that FTX's customer funds were being used on these big, risky bets for Alameda Research. And this is all, in his words, a bold-faced lie and a cover-up. Is that true?
No. No, it's not. That doesn't change the fact, though, that it was a really bad mistake and that it hurt a lot of people. And like that's on me one way or another, but I didn't think this was gonna happen. I obviously did the wrong things, but that was not what I was intending. And I think at the very least I have a duty to FTX's users to do right by them as best as I can.
You mean somehow make money and pay them back?
I would give anything to be able to do that, and I'm gonna try if I can.
So you're certain that once the dust has settled, that you won't be arrested for fraud?
I can't speak on behalf of law enforcement, but I don't think I will be.
Police in the Bahamas have arrested the former CEO of the cryptocurrency exchange FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried.
Ladies and gentlemen, there is only two things on God's green earth that could make a man dressed in an ironic FTX hat and ironic Lehman Brothers shirt be this happy. Number one would be losing my virginity, but thank God that has not happened. Number two would be the arrest and hopeful imprisonment of Sam Bankman-Fried.
Now in custody in the Bahamas, the US accuses him of, in their words, building a house of cards on a foundation of deception.
Well, when SBF was being led away in handcuffs, I was happy. I sat by the river in Montana drinking a rum punch, and I was thinking to myself that I'm a real badass for figuring this shit out.
A judge in the Bahamas has denied bail to the founder of the collapsed cryptocurrency exchange, FTX.
Sam did not cope well in prison. He's someone who's constantly playing video games. He loves multitasking, always having his mind busy. And so to be in prison with pretty much nothing to do, I think drove him absolutely insane. All he had was a little Sudoku book. So he spent several hours each day just playing Sudoku. But I think there is a ton of rumination on replaying everything that happened, replaying that movie over and over where you can't do anything to fix it.
I want to welcome our witness for this hearing, John J. Ray III.
The FTX group's collapse appears to stem from absolute concentration of control in the hands of a small group of grossly inexperienced and unsophisticated individuals who failed to implement virtually any of the systems or controls that are necessary for a company entrusted with other people's money or assets. This is really old-fashioned embezzlement. This is just taking money from customers and using it for your own purpose.
Today, the Southern District unsealed an 8-count indictment, and that was after the Securities and Exchange Commission and the Commodity Futures Trading Commission threw the book at him.
This is one of the biggest financial frauds in American history.
It's actually a very simple allegation when you think about it. It's pretty much theft. A customer put money in an account, and then that money was taken out, and it was used to buy real estate in the Bahamas, to make political donations, to invest in other crypto companies, to pay off firms that Alameda had borrowed money from.
The disgraced FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried has signed extradition papers in the Bahamas and will now be flown to the US to face a range of criminal charges.
The night that he was extradited, prosecutors in New York announced that they had also charged 2 of the closest lieutenants in the inner circle of FTX leadership.
The Southern District of New York has filed charges against Caroline Ellison, the former CEO of Alameda Research, and Gary Wang, a co-founder of FTX. Both Ms. Ellison and Mr. Wang have pled guilty to those charges, and they are both cooperating with the Southern District of New York.
Not long after that, Nishad Singh also pleaded guilty, also agreed to cooperate against Sam. One of the most striking things about this case is that the people who have turned on Sam were not just colleagues, they were his closest friends in the world. They lived with him, you know, he and Caroline dated, and now they've turned on him. To him, it must seem like a great betrayal.
Gotta make space. Guys, we're going straight this way. Come with me. Sam, hold on to me, Sam. Let's go.
Sam Bankman-Fried arrived at this Manhattan federal court wearing a dark suit. The disgraced crypto executive was rushed past the awaiting media.
Make the hole, guys. You're going to end up falling.
Sam's basic defense has always been, I messed up, but I didn't mean to do anything wrong. Maybe I got in too deep. I was inexperienced. I was trying to do my best, but it was an honest mistake.
I kind of think he thinks he's innocent. He says that he's aware that he could potentially go to prison, but he's always like, I don't like ruminating on those things. I don't think it's productive. And I'm like, it might not be productive, but I think it could definitely be your reality.
The court in New York has agreed to release the founder of the failed cryptocurrency exchange, FTX, on payment of $250 million bail.
Not our car. Not our car. Back off.
Sam is facing very, very serious jail time. The theoretical maximum sentence is over 100 years. Huge bail gets posted, but he is released under home monitoring, so he goes back, like some other 30-something whose life has taken a turn for the worse, to live with mom and dad.
This is the mansion SBF is currently living at. He will be hanging out poolside under house arrest until his trial comes.
What's up, guys? It's me, Tiff. And a few days ago, I spoke with Sam Bankman-Fried in person at his parents' home in Palo Alto, California. I Ubered over, and his neighborhood is nice, but it wasn't like, you know, sprawling mansions or anything like that. I'm a hugger, so I go in for a hug. I hug everybody. But he's quite, awkward. We're right around Sam's house.
But this is it here?
Yeah, it's that way. Didn't know what to expect. And there was a barricade around his street. So that was all nerve-wracking. Sam opened the door, and yeah, he was just like in all of the pictures. You know, nerdy, dorky guy. We were just sitting in a room filled with books and computers, talking for a few hours that day.
It's a nice house, you know, I just knocked on the door. And it is just a bizarre atmosphere because everything seemed kind of strangely normal, but he's under home monitoring, so, you know, he's got the literal ankle bracelet on his leg. And then there was quite a kind of strange moment we had where there was, in the room where he was staying, there's chess set up on the table, and I sort of said, you know, who do you play chess with? And he said, there's nobody. I was just sort of put them there in case somebody came by.
I think Sam's lonely. Sometimes I explicitly ask, like, who his friends are and who he talks to consistently, and the answer is basically nobody. I've generally just been interested in how he's coping. Just psychologically, I feel like some visits he's been doing better than others, but staying busy watching Netflix and stuff. He said he was watching a show called Inside Job. We kind of talked about his mental health. He's kind of always struggled with depression. But yeah, don't see him as two-dimensionally as I think most people do. Like, I don't see him as the evil supervillain that most people do. Like, there are a lot of people who lost a lot of money to FTX, and people are angry.
For me, Sam Bankman-Fried, he's literally destroyed so many people's lives. But he wouldn't have been able to conduct this fraud without the help of others. And I hold them more accountable. And I felt that I had to do something. And I decided to file a lawsuit against the celebrity promoters to help recover money for FTX creditors, because literally everything was gone.
Trading crypto.
There's like 18 defendants. The big names include Thomas Brady, Giselle, Larry David. A lot of investors lost money because they were influenced by them, making the users feel that it's a safe exchange to use, right?
But why go after the celebrities? But surely they just got a paycheck.
For sure, I believe the marketing did mask the pitfalls and the risks involved in cryptocurrency investing. And celebrity promoters think that they can promote anything and get paid, and they have no negative consequences of that. So I think that I'm showing that no, you know, you're going to be held accountable.
Now it's for all kinds of investing. It's better.
Tom Brady, best quarterback ever, at a Hall of Fame level, was allegedly paid millions of dollars. And he took all this money without even checking them out. Same goes with Giselle and others. They can't run from the crime scene because it did happen. Who put their hand in the air to say this isn't right? Who? Everyone was paid by him. Politicians were paid, senators were paid, House members were paid. Everyone was paid.
Carl, these new charges now really ratchet up the level of seriousness for Sam Bankman-Fried.
Prosecutors accusing Bankman-Fried of essentially stealing FTX customers' money to fund his political giving and then trying to cover it up.
The ripple effects of FTX's collapse have been really significant. He's accused of breaking campaign finance laws in the United States by making donations in a certain person's name when actually the money came from a different person.
Today we have an exclusive interview with Sam Bankman-Fried discussing his massive donations to political parties.
I asked him if his donations to Democrats were just sort of to get favorable regulation for FTX, but he sort of volunteered information that ended up being sort of a big deal.
They donated about the same amount to both parties this year. That was not generally known because all my Republican donations were dark.
Wow. Sam is claiming he gave Republicans the same amount, but under the table. And the reason he wanted to do it this way was so that basically the journalists would like him more.
It's because reporters freak the fuck out if you donate to a Republican. They're all super liberal and didn't want to have that fight. So I made all the Republican ones dark.
It shows you how cynical Sam was. He never cared about politics. He cared about power and perception. That's why he played both sides.
Now that Sam's been arrested, the politicians who accepted money from him are under the microscope.
So now bankrupt FTX is asking politicians to return donations given to them by Sam Bankman-Fried.
I've had people tell me when Sam was flying high how proud they were that they had accepted his money into their campaign. I had those very same people tell me, oh no, I never took a dollar from Sam. And I'm like, well, you told me 6 months ago you did. But, oh, no, I didn't. I think the embarrassment at the Washington establishment level has been supreme.
He certainly cultivated a persona as this kind of crypto diplomat who is going to bridge the divide between regulators and lawmakers. And there's a question now about whether that was an act.
There were a lot of powerful people that were involved with FTX. Sam Bankman-Fried used his connections, he used celebrities, he used quite a bit of money. You put that all together, you've got money, you've got politicians, you've got celebrities. What more could you need for a perfect crime?
At the end of the day, I had to pay back the money that I lost through FTX. It is still money that I owe, so my creditors, they're calling me nonstop. And it's very, 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 very difficult. And the house is a significant asset, and they could seize that if I can't continue to make payments. So it hasn't been fun, and I did not feel like I could talk to people about what happened from all this. Especially my parents, like they thought it was just the biggest scam on the face of the planet. Well, that's what you get. And that's almost what my dad said. I was like, wow, thanks.
FTX is not just a story. Real people with real lives have been absolutely destroyed overnight. And we have to remember this money is stolen. And this is not a small event. This is 1.4 million people. I set up some Telegram groups and I got tons of messages and people are saying, you know, I panic attacks on antidepressants because they've lost so much. It's really, really sad.
I saw FTX collapse, I honestly didn't think it had anything to do with me. But I ended up losing everything because of the FTX situation. And obviously it was very upsetting to have my whole livelihood disappear in seconds.
You right?
Yeah, I hope that is okay. I don't want people to feel sorry for me, I guess. Like, I don't want, like, people to pity, but I guess I just want people to realize that, you know, there are real people involved. And it's not like we did anything wrong, you know? Like,
I can see how raw it is.
you know, maybe I needed that in order to really grow into the person that I'm going to become.
My paychecks were all paid into FTX. My severance was lost with FTX as well, close to $100,000. And it was all because of the fraud, deceit. And I just couldn't believe the company that I had worked for did this. You feel ashamed that you maybe, those red flags that you should have seen earlier, right? And that you were a part of it is terrible.
Am I going to get my money? I'm not sure, to be honest. It's difficult, yeah.
I go fishing every day. Trying to catch a fish just to survive. Feed my family. All of my earnings, all my hard-earned money, what I work for, you know, I invested in the crypto now. Everything crashed. I like a pauper. That's how they leave me. They ain't giving us no justice. I can't blame Sam. What Sam did, to me, Sam was like a savior, you know? Since FTX crashed, it's like we looking for another savior now.
The money done gone. Yeah, the money done gone. The money done gone. Lord, the money done gone. Oh, the money done gone. My name is Bishop Lawrence Roll, known as the nation's singing bishop. The money done gone.
Many people say that Sam Bankman-Fried is a fraudster. What do you think?
He's a good man. And tell him we need more money. More money. More money. We need more money. $50,000 FTX gave to us. And there has been a blessing to us. Tell them we need more money. As there are times that persons cannot find food to eat. Come. See, no food. See, I could go up in here. That's why I gotta go sing to feed the people. Buy rice. We buy sugar.
Sam seemed to be completely genuine in his desire to give, and he gave something between $100 and $200 million. It's a lot of money, but of course, if you put it in proportion to Sam's estimated fortune of $25 billion, then it's a very small proportion of that. Clearly, after the revelations about the alleged misuse of clients' funds, one has to think differently about Sam. If indeed he did take the money from his clients' funds, my best guess is that he took it in order to protect his reputation and to still have a very large amount of money that he could give away. No doubt Sam thought that the end justifies the means. I certainly hoped that he was going to be using what he earned for good, to help others. It may turn out that he was effectively stealing clients' money to use for his own purposes. If that's the case, then you could say that he was more a robber than a Robin Hood. But let's wait for the trial and the verdict first.
Let's just jump right in. Sam is staying strong, pleading not guilty. And I will say that from my personal conversations with Sam, I would be very surprised if he did plead guilty at any point.
Sam Bankman-Fried might go to prison for the rest of his life. And I look forward to covering your trial. That's the truth.
I don't think Sam Bankman-Fried set out to be a scammer. He just struck me as a nice chap, a passionate individual, very genuine. In my opinion, he amassed a lot of money, a lot of power, and some debts, and he just didn't want people to know he covered that up. I think that's what he did, which is obviously wrong, but not an out-and-out scammer, no.
I'm not an apologist for Sam, but it was to me an appearance of kindness. And so I stuck my neck out for him and he betrayed me. You know, I had great sadness about it. And sometimes people have a compulsion for ambition, almost like a weird God complex where they sort of feel like, well, I'm doing something that's such a good for the world that it would be okay for me to break a few rules here or there.
I don't think he even thinks he did anything wrong. There's no accountability, no sense of remorse. He has no self-awareness from it. And I think that it's really a true example of narcissism. This person was our little figurehead of the crypto industry, and he was the worst person of them all.
I think people only want to hear fuck that guy, he needs to rot in prison for life. There are so many accusations. It's like, I don't assume that there's zero truth in them, but I'm kind of withholding the final nail of judgment for now.
Was FTX set up as a piggy bank to fund Sam's personal trading? I believe the sorry answer to that is yes. But I can't look you in the eye and tell you that this is like Darth Vader, because I think people are more complex than that. Certain people have a level of detachment. They'll look at things like it's a video game. If you think of people like they're in a video game, as opposed to actually living life where there's real people involved, you can do really stupid things.
Crypto craze is really driven by one emotion, which is the fear of missing out. But if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
My fear is that we'll view Sam Bankman-Fried as just one big snake in a crypto Garden of Eden. The fact is, crypto is a garden of snakes.
The fact that the poster child for the industry has gone down in flames amid accusations of massive fraud means that the future of crypto itself is called into question.
I'm not a crypto guy, but I think Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX is just the tip of the iceberg. And I think it's going to be brick after brick after brick.